very early good morning to all sins and commandments alike. This is Griever, your guys' host as always, bringing you guys, as I said before, a very early morning edition of 7 Deadly Sins. Dragon's Judgment. Episode 3 review. There we go. Get a little bit of caffeine rolling, and we should be good to go. Now, here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Here's exactly what happened. I knew it was Wednesday, and I knew I had to watch 7 Deadly Sins. Episode 3. Dragon's Judgment. So far this season, I've been a little more optimistic since the first 2 episodes, and I thought to myself, okay, that's the first thing I'll do when I get home. But you know what happened? I think you guys know. Shmatsu no Valkyrie dropped. Chapter 42. Followed by, we're going to get Chapter 43 probably sometime today. So, unfortunately, after doing a stream, rushing home, making sure to do that stream and all that stuff, I went and forgot that 7 Deadly Sins Episode 3 was out. So, I ended up remembering late at night, set a very early alarm before work so I could record this, render it, and hopefully get it out sometime tomorrow. Earlier on today, I suppose. So, I finished watching the episode just now, and this could be my very sleep-depraved mind. You know, I haven't had enough of the old, go-go juice quite yet, but I feel like this should have been a better episode, and it had some very big highs, but it had some problems, and that's really unfortunate. But what am I talking about? Well, let's just get into the pacing really quick here, right? Number 1, the big pro, the addition of extra scenes, the addition of filling out the Zeldris-GELDA story, the Zeldris-GELDA plot. Mwah. Love it. Love it to death. That was beautifully done. The first half of this episode, though there was one little con, and that was, we'll get into that in a second. But overall, the meeting in the woods, which was only a small cover page usage, which Nakaba failed to utilize as much as he should have in the manga, was a small, just one-off cover page that they would, they would traipse through, and they would have this affair or this, whatever in the woods and out of prime minds while demons and everything were floating by, and in the darks and the early mornings and in the very late nights they would meet up for only maybe minutes at a time. We had no idea. And here we get a fully animated version of that tryst, of that love that should not be happening. And it started off the episode because we got this Meliodas talking about, walking with Wild and Bond, and talking about his 2 younger brothers, and talking about Zeldris and how he treated Zeldris, and he couldn't fully understand what Zeldris was all about, because it's implied here that he knew about Gelda, but he hated what he was doing, he hated himself, he hated everybody around him, and even though Zeldris looked up to him and feared him, he paid Zeldris no mind. This is actually a very powerful, one of the great things to come out of the final arc of 7 Deadly Sins was Zeldris and Meliodas more on their relationship, more on their brotherly bond, and how it was affected, and how they can maybe, it's so devastating the more you learn about it. And here was a great episode to showcase that Meliodas was a terrible older brother to Zeldris. And Meliodas said he finally understood after meeting Elizabeth. Now, there are a couple of shots here that I'm going to show. I believe I took some screenshots of this. And this is where, once again, this is one of the cons. And we'll get into the bigger problem with this con later. But, once again, the animation quality. Sort of dipping a little bit here in episode 3. The faraway shots. And I don't think anybody so far has handled Demon Assault Mode Meliodas, or Demon Meliodas, whatever you want to call him, very well. The darkness looks childlike. It looks like it belongs in a Rescue Heroes and a Bob the Builder episode. And I've never taken to it, and I don't think it has been handled very well. Neither has the blacks. Why are all the blacks are all grayscaled? Like Zeldris' hair, Meliodas' demon look, nothing looks black. Why is everything like watered down, like somebody, spilled water on something? Like it all looks very grayscaled, very lacking saturation, something. I'm not sure what it is. Everything's lacking saturation for its colors or something. But yeah, a couple of the shots here, more noticeable than the last episode, are starting to make me feel a few, last season vibes, and I'm not too happy about that. But despite all that, this backstory, the first half of this episode was handled so well, because not only that, they increase the time spent. We actually see, because this was all told from Meliodas' and Zeldris' sort of backstory, right? They monologued this in the manga. But here, we're actually seeing the scenes. We're seeing Zeldris kneel before the Demon King throne. We're seeing him talking about his ideas about how they could spare the vampire clan. We see the meeting in the woods. We get a scene with Gelda. We get to see, instead of just the indication that it was very hard for Zeldris to lock away his beloved and all that stuff, 3,000 years ago. We're seeing the actual scenes in real time. And that was an excellent, and stupid camera doesn't want to focus. The camera needs to wake up too. But we get to see it. And that's beautiful. That's wonderfully handled. I could not stress this enough, that this was the highlight of the season thus far for me. It truly was the highlight of the season, getting all this animated. Because that's one of the beauties of anime that I can't stress enough, that I do it every time we talk about anime, is that you have an opportunity to do it better than the manga if you get more information later down the line, and you can utilize it and fill out scenes and have a different type of pacing. And that is one key thing I will give this season 10 out of 10 for. I've praised it for 2 episodes now for how it's handling the different scenes and the timeline, which is perfect. I think this will be a big payoff, and they're doing it here as well. But also, this scene is solidifying that the changes they are making are for the better. They're making us feel. Now, one small issue I had, just a very small issue with these scenes, as I said before, is the animation. Once again, it really is, because the scene they should have put a better budget into. Maybe it's just the character models or something like that. I find they always look like they're like drooping a little bit and such like that. We had a really strong emotional scene between Gelda and Zeldris here when he was going to lock them away and he told Monspeed to leave and stuff. Some shots were good, some look corny, and that's unfortunate. This should have had a lot of the animation budget put into the scene to make it stronger, and it did take me away from the moment in a couple of shots, and that's unfortunate, because this really was a great decision a great addition to this episode. Now, I hope I didn't spend 25 minutes talking about that. I'm trying to look at the time card here. I feel like I've been talking forever, but once again, hold on a sec, guys. Ooh, that's still a little hot. So basically here, the other half of the episode, here's where one of the cons come in. As I said, minor con really, a couple of bad shots, and really the animation sort of dragged it down a little bit. Before I forget, another scene that we saw is actually the moment, and we didn't see this before. Zeldris met up with a human when he went to look for Gelda, and he couldn't find Gelda. And he didn't automatically assume they were destroyed, but then he found out this is something that was not in the manga to the extent of my, knowledge. I haven't reread all the volumes, but I don't remember there being a scene that Zeldris, the moment they got released from the coffin and he commanded all the commandments to go do their thing, he went straight to find Gelda. He saw the place shattered. He wasn't sure what had happened. Did they escape? Who broke it? What happened? He meets up with a hunter or a member of the old of Edinburgh, and basically says what happened here, what happened to all the vampires. They were all destroyed 12 years ago by a group called the 7 Deadly Sins. Now Zeldris finds out or knows at this point that Meliodas is the captain of the 7 Deadly Sins. He finds this all out. Now we understand even more so his hatred towards his brother from seasons past. This is all adding up and making sense. I thought I would remember this scene. At the very least, it might have been talked about, but we certainly didn't see a scene like this. And that, once again, 10 out of 10, can't deny the power and the great, whoever was in charge and said we need to put this in, deserves the credit. Like, credit where credit is due. This was wonderful idea, wonderful addition. Now, the other half, as I said, so now we've taken up 20 minutes, I'm sure. The other half of the episode, I was disappointed. Once again, partly due to animation, and it could be the quality that I was watching, but I felt that the big moment, we're finally seeing the one again. We have an opportunity here to do it right, to do it properly. Fan animation has shown us that a fan sitting at home on their desktop like me can make a better scene of Meliodas versus Escanor than the anime did. And here was an opportunity for them to once again pour the animation budget. If you're going to have shots look like season 3 anyways, here in season 4, dump the money where it counts. And the one was a moment to do this. And though it wasn't pissed away like last season, I was disappointed. Were you guys? Am I being too harsh? The constant red flames. I'm struggling to find a good thumbnail. I've got some good shots of GELDA. I've got some good shots of Zeldris. And I would really like to use him for a thumbnail. But I'm struggling to find a good shot. Because this constant flame on look, like we're looking through smoke, looks good for a couple of shots. And I'm not against it. But Escanor is too engulfed in flames. He looks I'm not impressed as much. The flame in the eyes don't look as good. The flames around his body are okay at best. And even when it does look good, the flames and all the animation and the hellfire that's supposed to intimidate us, it's too much, and we can't even tell what's going on. I couldn't tell. I knew from the manga, but I wanted to see clear shots of Escanor's hand clashing down. I wanted to see the battle that was taking place, but there was too much red, too much orange. I was just complaining about a lack of saturation for the most part in these scenes, and now it's just orange hue, the orange and yellow the entire time. I can barely make out where Escanor's hand begins, where anything begins. It's not clean enough. And once again, just like my camera focus doesn't seem to want to agree with me for this video recording, I had serious problems with this. I don't know about you guys. What did you all think? Can Escanor not be properly animated? Is that the problem? I couldn't say. I can't tell you. But right now, I just feel really disappointed. And this could be early morning vibes on a second watch, and later on during the day, I might feel, oh, I was completely wrong about this. But you guys are going to have to tell me. Either way, this is going to be a very long review. As I said, I think I talked about Zeldris there for at least a good 20 minutes or so. I might have to cut some stuff out. But either way, I hope this isn't a 30-minute review, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, we are going to 500 subscribers by the month of March. In the month of March, I want to see 500 subscribers. So let's freaking go. Like, comment, and subscribe. Very early good morning to you all, and we will see you back here. I might even be able to upload this before I head to work. So gonna go take a shower and go from there. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you back here next time. Drink responsibly and see ya.